Welcome to the Deep Leadership Podcast. Today I'm joined by Eric Godwin. Eric is an educator turned author. His new book, Impact My Life, Being the Change, is a call to action for people looking to make a difference in their communities and workplaces. Being a leader means making a positive impact on the people who work for you. And in a year filled with so much negativity, I'm excited to talk to Eric about something positive. So Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, it's great to have you, and it's great to talk about something positive in the midst of a year that there's been so much negativity.
Yes, I agree 100%. It's been quite a year, and I think my book is going to have a good impact on this world and our climate and culture, and I'm looking forward to spreading my message.
That sounds great. So first of all, get started. I mean, you are a teacher and a leader, and I'm always curious to know people's origin stories. So why did you choose education as a career?
So it kind of all started when I was in high school. So in high school, I was involved in FFA, which is a student leadership organization with an emphasis on agriculture. It's actually the largest youth organization in the country for high school students and middle school students. And my agriculture teacher, Mr. Jolly, he still works at Midway High School down in Sampson County. He was a big influence on that, and he was kind of my role model when I was in high school. And he took me to my first national FFA convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. And when I went and I was hooked, I decided, I'm like, you know what, I can do this for the rest of my life. So I went to school at the University of Mount Olive and got my degree in agri-science education. Got my first job in Columbia, North Carolina, and moved to Washington, North Carolina after about 4 years of that. And now I'm a middle school science teacher in Manassas, Virginia. So I've kind of hopped around, did a few things, and just the overall message of agriculture and FFA is really what pushed me to want to give back, and having a great role model such as Mr. Jolly. He was my big influence in becoming a teacher.
That's great. I think all of us can point to someone in our lives that was either a mentor or a leader, or someone we looked up to. What stood out to you about Mr. Jolly that really that made you want to emulate him as a person?
He had a lot of character. He was humorous in the classroom. He was dedicated. He he helped students. He built relationships with students, and just wanted to really. He just kind of took me under his wing, it felt that I now wanted to give back, based off of what he was doing.
Mm.
Um, it's one of those things when you have a role model or a mentor, you kind of want to reflect that, and this you can see the success that they have in the role that they have, and you want to kind of imitate that, and you want to surround yourself with people such as that. And I think those traits is really what really wanted to push me into going into education.
So it sounds like he was a person that impacted the people around him.
Yes, he was.
It still is. It sounds like.
Yeah. he's
So
he's still down there.
still doing it, still
Yeah,
impacting lives. That's great. That's
correct.
great to hear. And I always think that leadership is it's like a pebble going in the water. There's ripples that come out, and you don't realize the influence you have just on the people that you interact with, but also the people that they interact with, and you can really spread your message and spread your influence. And I think that great leaders do that. They influence the people around them, who then influence others around them. So I think that sounds like you had a good mentor, a good role model.
I did. And some other, influential people is, as you grow older, like, when you get into college, you find another mentor.
Mm.
So, and that was Dr. Sandy Maddox at University of Mount Olive. And she was, she's the director of the School of Agriculture and Biological Sciences down there. And then I met Dr. Alston at North Carolina A&T State University for my master's degree. He is a great influential person. And each one of them have different character traits that push you and teach you a different lesson throughout life to grow you into the leader that you want to be. And so these were very impactful people.
Yeah, it's interesting. One thing they taught us about about leadership when I was in the Navy was to, emulate the qualities of great leaders that you either work for or that you're around. But then the bad leaders always learn from them as well. Try not to do the things that they do. But I think at least I know for myself as a leader, I'm a collection of all of the great leaders that I worked for over the years, and the inverse of all the bad leaders that I work for. So it's interesting how people can influence and shape the way we approach life.
Yep. And, just like, once I got my job into teaching, you have great principals, assistant principals, and you have these leaders that you look up to, and they make you want to be better, or they teach you like, I'm going to really do it a different way.
You're right,
So I
exactly.
learned what not to do. In the last 2 years, I've actually been a department lead at my current school, leading a group of teachers to, accomplish a goal, and that's, student success.
Mm,
And the process is to get to student success. So that role has actually taught me a lot as well, because this is my 10th year teaching as well. So the years has come up and mentoring other teachers, young teachers, stepping into that role. Because it's one of those things, it's one of those careers that you have to take care of the ones coming in.
right,
Um,
right,
to and because if you're not modeling that for new teachers, who is going to do it? It's either going to be someone positive or someone negative, and then that's going to overall impact the whole school climate and culture.
right,
And
exactly.
that's what we need, a positive, because positive climate culture equals positive students who are coming to school excited, they're ready to learn, and they're ready to be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, it works in the workplace as well, too. Same thing.
Correct.
Positive employees are going to be making a positive difference for your company versus ones that are miserable and not happy and not
Yep.
and feel like they're being treated unfairly. Yeah.
Yep. Happy teachers have happy students.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
So you have a new book out. I want to talk about that. I'm excited to talk about it. It's called Impact My Life, Being the Change. And actually, you corrected me as we were talking earlier on. It's actually hashtag Impact My Life, Being the Change. So my first question before we get into the details, but why hashtag Impact My Life? Why is it titled that way?
When you first get the book, so for the ones who are going to watch the recording, this is the book. Um, the book actually, when it starts off, it goes over a purpose and then it goes through a goal. So the purpose of the book is to spread kindness, is to spread positivity, and to impact the lives of others, which will in turn impact yours.
Mm.
And so as you're going through the book and doing things, you're going to be reflecting on these activities or impacts, and then you're going to be sharing about it. So that's why it's hashtag impact my life. So you're going to be sharing it on a social media platform of your choice: Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook,
Tick,
Parlor. That's the new thing.
TikTok,
Parlor, TikTok.
Parlor, TikTok.
Yep.
Can I make a
So
TikTok video after?
yeah, TikTok videos. Um, so yeah, that was the whole purpose of hashtag impact my life, is because, you can look up hashtags as well, and you can see, the impacts that are taking place throughout the world, throughout your community, and things like that.
No, I think
Um,
that's great. I know, you know, and we'll talk a little bit about this, but I know that, social media, we were talking a little bit before we got started, is that, when it started, it was all kind of friendly. Everybody was just experimenting with it. And then it's become now a very negative place with a lot of people talking politics and yelling at each other, and these strangers just, having these fierce debates online. And, it's kind of evolved from where it began. And I think if I'm correct, if I reading through the book, it sounds like seeing some of this negativity online was actually some of the genesis for writing this book, wasn't it?
Correct. So as you know, as a leader, communication really is one of the foundation traits of being a good leader. As you know, like when you communicate face to face, you can see body language, things like that. But when you're
Mm.
on social media and you post something, you can't see that body language. So people
Mm.
can misinterpret things. It can come off negative. So the real genesis of hashtag impact my life was I started writing it in 2017. So my fiance at the time, um, and I were about to get married about 4 months. We got married in April, started writing a book that January. And so I was just sitting on the couch because, we can have the TV on the background. She's on her Kindle or whatever. I'm on my phone just flipping through. And I just start seeing all these negative comments
Mm,
because, the election had just gotten done, and things like that. And I was like, man, something's got to change because, it used to be babies, food, different celebratory events, things like that. And now the whole atmosphere and culture of social media has turned into rants and
mm,
politics and things like that, and not spreading good messages.
I
And
see
so
that.
that was the more, like, it gave me the foundation and motivation to start this, to make a change. And a lot of times, a lot of people will sit around like, I want to make a difference in this world. And then a lot of times it kind of gets lost. You
Mm.
don't know where to start. And I wanted to create something that someone could possibly start, give them the foundation to make a change.
Yeah, that's interesting. I agree with you. I see a lot of people say things or say, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to run a marathon, right? But many people don't take that next step, which is action. And when it comes to positively affecting your world, where do you start? Where
Yeah,
where do I start? As if I see the negativity in the world and I want to do something about it, where do I start? And it sounds like you wrote the book to help people get started. Is that right?
correct. um, because everybody needs that foundation. Everybody needs a stepping stone, especially the ones who might not necessarily have the background to want to go and do that. And
Hmm.
plus, it's a risk. A lot of people, especially with as you as a business owner, taking that risk to start a business or to invest into a product like this, it's a huge risk, and you want to invest in yourself. Because one of the things is when we were living in North Carolina, we were paycheck to paycheck. I was contemplating getting a second job, and my wife now, she was like, no, we'll never see each other. We won't spend time. And I was like, well, I'm going to invest in myself. And then why not invest in myself, but also invest in other people? So, and that's why I created this product,
Hmm.
and I'm hoping it will actually make a difference for other people, like it has for me.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that's it's good. I think sometimes people need a catalyst. They need or they need a igniter to get things moving. And from everything I've seen in the book is that it's an igniter. It's a call to action, which I like. And you help guide people through a journey of giving, basically, into
Correct.
helping. So going back a little bit to the negative, going back to negativity, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but one of the things I see too is it's not only impacting, you know, us as adults, but how do you see it as a teacher with the children? Now, that you teach, you're in middle school now, you were teaching high school before, but how do you see all this negativity affecting the people the kids that you're teaching and then that you're mentoring?
Yeah, sure. So the negativity is really impacting them a lot because, when I know I'm younger than you, so I graduated high school in 2007. So, but we didn't have access to cell phones until we were, juniors in high school. That's when cell phones really started, when kids started really having cell phones. Um, and then they were, the flip phones and, free calling after 7, all
Right,
that
right. I
stuff. And
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, and so we didn't have this access to technology, and social, like MySpace was just starting to be a thing.
Right, right.
Um, and so we didn't have all this access to technology and to these platforms like these kids are now, because kids now they're on YouTube, they're everywhere. They have it at the tips of their fingers. Like, you can have a 5-year-old a phone and they can figure it out.
Mm.
In no time, a lot faster than what I could, at that age. Probably, we were playing in the dirt.
Right,
Um,
right.
so I think having this access, and then of course, not being monitored on this access has a lot to do with it. And plus, they're not getting the social skills necessarily that we were getting,
Mm.
because we had to go outside and play with other people to be able to socially connect. And now they can do it through Xbox or PlayStation.
Right,
And
right.
cyberbullying and things like that are at an all-time high now.
Mm.
And so with our youth, it's actually pretty it's pretty shocking, because I know in school we're actually focusing a lot, because we have advisory time at our school, and we focus a lot on self-awareness and
Mm,
empathy. We start teaching a lot of these um, socio-emotional learning um, things, and doing different activities with kids to get them talking, get them aware of these things, and be able to help these kids out, to let them know, like, this is not okay, and when you see these things, this is how you need to respond and act.
mm,
um, and it's good now that we're teaching them at 12, 13 years old and younger, hopefully to change that curve that they're doing and seeing um, on the axis. And at 10 years old, you're looking on Instagram, whatever, and you're seeing these people perceiving themselves a certain way, and then they want to be like that as well.
mm.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
and one of those influential people, Dr. Maddox, she taught me a big lesson on perception versus reality.
Okay.
um, so, you want to be perceived how you actually are, because if you don't, other people will develop that perception for you.
Mm.
And especially being leaders, you want that reality piece to come in. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of our youth today, is those perceptions are overtaking what's reality and how they actually are.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see, what ends up like, especially Instagram is the highlight reel of your life, right? Look how
Yep.
good looking I am. Look at my new car. Look at, well, maybe not for kids, but look at all my friends. Look at the party I'm at. Look at I'm gone to a beach house this weekend, and you have other students that might be sitting back and seeing all those things and saying, well, wait a second, I don't go to a beach house. I don't have all these friends. I didn't get invited to that party. And then suddenly, depression sets in, negative feeling
Right.
sets in. Yeah, so I think that is not good, because again, it's just the highlight reel, right? We don't ever see the other side of that individual who's, you don't see all their, like, all the blooper reel, right? All the things that
Yeah.
they screw up in their lives. And I think that's part of the problem with social media too, is that you're seeing, a curated one side of everything. You don't ever see it's like a two-dimensional space, whereas when you spend time with people, it's three-dimensional. You see the story behind the story, right? You get to know those people as individuals. So I think we only see a 2D version of people, and I think it's not healthy.
Yeah. And, like, you'll meet someone in person, and then on social media they're a completely different person.
Right, right.
And
Yeah,
I know a few people like that, and I'm just like, wow, like, if I would have
yeah.
met you through social media, I would have never expected you to be like that.
Right,
um
right.
so it's kind of a, like you said, 2D. And I'm a big follower of Clay Travis, who's a sports broadcaster.
Hmm.
And he had a episode one time, he talked about how social media is not reality.
Mm.
And if you follow social media trends, that's not the trends that are current. A lot of people follow those trends, and that's not accurate information, because it's
Yeah, it's a
social media
false. It's just a group of people talking about one particular subject, and it suddenly
exactly, it's
becomes
perception.
trending. Yeah, yeah, it's a perception. Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, but let's talk about something positive. So I think
Yes.
we could spend a lot of time talking about the problems of social media. But we talked a little bit about it. The book is great the way it's set up. It is structured as a collection of weekly actions and reflections and sharing. And so my question to you is, why did you set it up that way?
Because I know a lot of people, when they see something like this, they could be kind of overwhelming.
Okay.
So I set it up into 52 weeks. So it's a year's worth of impacts, but you don't have to do it in 1 year. Someone might not have the resources or the availability, or, things like that. So it could be 1 year, 2 year, or 5 years. As long as, if at the end of it, you can say, I did a year's worth of impacts to
Mm,
help other people and to spread kindness, or to help my environment or my community. And so yeah, I set it up that way because it could seem kind of daunting or overwhelming for people, to, like, okay, this could be too much. But if you break it down, because like, as your wife is a teacher, we scaffold education. So we start one
mhm.
way, and then we overall get them to a bigger goal. And the last week is actually, you making your own annual impact after you've finished a book. So every year you can keep making an impact, but make one special one your goal every year to do, to
Okay.
impact your community or environment or the other people around you.
I love that. And what are some examples of like maybe 1 week out of the year, what it might look like?
So one week, I know you could plant a tree. Another week, I have where you're, donating to museums because we always want to learn from our history, and we need these places to keep going so we can educate the youth and things like that. Reading at a public library to impact kids and to impact literacy. Another one could be, just giving a random stranger a flower.
Mm,
Um, I'll give you an example because I actually did this. This is one of my actual favorite posts. I was just in the grocery store buying groceries, and I was like, you know what? I hadn't made an impact in a while, so let me make an impact. So I just went over because most grocery stores sell flowers. And I saw this beautiful red Gerber daisy because that's the ag teacher coming out in me. So we had a greenhouse and we planted flowers and stuff. So I grabbed this Gerber daisy and I went and I'm like, I'm going to give it to someone as I'm walking out the store. So I buy the flower, I buy my groceries, and as I'm walking out the store, I'm like, okay, I need to get a picture of the flower because I'm not about posting the other person. Because
right,
if you're paying it forward or donating or giving someone like a homeless person a meal or something like that, I'm not all about putting them on social media because I know if I was in that situation, I wouldn't want to be that way.
right.
But spreading the message is the point.
Mm,
Um, so as I'm walking out, I'm getting ready to take the picture of the flower, and this guy stops and says, "Go ahead and take your picture." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "This is the guy that's getting the flower."
oh, interesting.
So he walks out. So as I'm walking behind him, I said, "Hey, I just want to say thank you for stopping and let me take my picture." And I bought this flower specifically to give to a stranger.
Yeah,
And he was like, "Really?" He was shocked.
yeah,
I
yeah,
said, "Well, here you go. I hope you have a great day." Here I had a bookmark, and I gave him a bookmark that I had made. Um, so here's this. I'm author of a book, and things like that. And he thanked me, and then I go home, and then I'm like, let me search my hashtag.
yeah.
I searched the hashtag on Facebook and found where he had posted it.
Oh,
And
wow.
and he was talking about how it made him feel great and things like that. So it just the whole point of it is impacting lives of others to impact yours. Because man, it made me feel great
Mm,
um, to know that this person spread, the message, and hopefully it'll motivate someone else to help others or do a random act of kindness like that as well.
oh man, I love it. That's great. It's almost like in the world right now, it's so can be so negative and so we've got corona, we've got the election, we've got riots, we have racial issues. There's so much negativity in the world, and then someone hands you a flower, you know,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
says it's just for you. Have a great day. And I almost would think that people would say, wow, that's so it's actually counterculture to be good, to be nice, to
yeah,
be to thank people or to just say, hey, have a great day. So it's really interesting that that's actually counterculture now.
yeah. And well, I also talk about, in the purpose of my book, how, the idea of community service has completely changed.
Yes.
So now, if you do a petty crime or something like, they could serve you community service that you have to go and do.
Right.
So it's kind of like community service has a negative
It's
aura,
punishment.
or yeah,
Yeah, it's like
it's punishment.
punishment now. Yeah. Yeah.
But the FFA and agriculture teacher and me taught me that that's not what service is.
Mm,
Service is giving back. It's helping others. It's raking your neighbor's leaves. It's cooking a meal for a friend. It's sending a just thinking of you card to somebody you hadn't talked to in a while.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's just those different things, just different acts. It gets that simple.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's great. And I just want to, as you make that point, I want to just encourage the leaders that are listening here is that, you can do that to the people working for you as well. You can
correct.
have a positive impact on their lives, and just knowing what's troubling them and asking them, about their lives and being interested in what they're doing. And I do random acts of kindness at work all the time, where we bring in like food for employees, or we take the afternoon off. And it's just those things that make their lives a little bit easier, and
Yeah.
you treat them as a person and not just a number on a spreadsheet somewhere. And I think, as is as I talk about it from a leadership perspective, you're talking about it from a community perspective, but it's very much the same thing. It's about impacting lives to the positive and having a positive impact on people.
Yeah, it's like, it's the little things that
Mm,
build up. And, there's also a saying, people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses.
yes.
And then, if you're celebrating the little things, just, for example, like, when your birthday comes up, if your
Right.
boss remembered your
Right.
birthday, there's family members that don't remember your birthday.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but if your boss remembered your birthday and like put something in your mailbox or your locker or something like that, it makes a big difference.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so
So leaders, listen to that. I do that every one of my employees' birthdays. I know, and I make sure to thank them, and I always bring in food for their birthday, and so yeah. So leaders, that's a simple little thing. Write that down. So if you want to be you want to be a good leader, you want to be a leader worth following. Know your employees' birthdays and just say happy birthday. Even just that alone, you're making a positive impact.
yeah, pizza parties and goodie bags. That's what
Yeah. Yeah. It's
teach
exactly
your,
right. Yeah.
that's the teacher way.
So it's great. I love the story about the flower and the impact that it made to that individual. What is the what other stories have you heard from people who have read the book and implemented some of the ideas? What kind of impact has it made on them as they've reached out and helped others? How does it affect them?
So I know a lot of people that have gotten my book are other educators.
Mm.
Um, and I actually had someone, um, a dear close friend of mine, purchased about 10 books
Oh
and
wow!
donated them to a high school
Oh wow!
in North Carolina. And they're actually going to be utilizing the book as part of their service projects for this year.
I love it.
And so I think, the book is for adults, but it can also be used for, young adults as
Mm.
well. And I know agriculture teachers, because I probably have some agriculture teachers that's probably going to subscribe and listen in just because, I was on here today. Uh, but a lot of these activities can be used for SAE hours and community service hours for like beta club, things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So this school is going to be utilizing my book to help promote, get SAE hours, get involved in their communities and things like that. And then they're going to be spreading the message. Um, and I'm actually going to be zooming in at one of their FFA officer meeting or chapter meetings next week
Nice.
to do kind of like an author thing and kind of kickstart the the things, because they can do that remotely from home if they're
Right.
virtual, things
Right.
like that, to get out in their communities and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
I love it.
it's that's one of my big feel good moments is knowing that schools and things like that can utilize this product as well, to help shape their communities,
I love
and
it.
and especially when it's impacting youth. That's it's they're the leaders of tomorrow, so we got to take care of the leaders for the next generation, that's going to take care of me after I'm old and not working anymore.
Yeah, like when you get to be my age, right?
No, we got some time,
I'm
buddy.
just a little bit further down the road. That's all. so what?
Easy.
So what's your hope for this book? If you could write the best chapter as to what this book did for the community, for the world. What would what's your hope for the book?
So my hope for the book is that other people can take it, implement it, and make a difference for themselves,
Mm,
and to let it be the foundation of them to get started helping give back to their communities, beautify their communities, um, their homes, the people around them, their friends, build relationships, network with other people, because like some of the impacts is like Lions Club, volunteer civil organizations, things like that, who are also spreading their message and spreading positivity and kindness and things like that and helping them. Um, so it's overall, my hope is that it's going to keep um, growing, keep building, and hopefully making a change in our climate and culture and our society today, especially our virtual society through social media. And hopefully people won't stop there. That's my ultimate goal. If you
mm,
finish the book, keep going.
keep going.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Because we got to take care of the people that are not even born yet. We got to start changing the culture of our society. Um, to a more positive professional. We can have fun, but we got to have good fun that's going to promote a positive message.
I like that. I like that. So what's next for you? Now you're an author. Now you're a published author. You're a new dad.
Yes, I
So
am.
I heard 2020 has been exciting for you. So what's next for you?
What's next? I'm actually working on another book for teachers.
Nice.
That's going to be my next project. I've also thought about, getting into the children's literature. Having children of your own will kind of motivate you towards that as well. Um, so I'm looking to go into that route. Education is still my focal point. I love teaching. I love working with kids. I want to teach agriculture again, so that's in the works currently in my school system. Hopefully, in a couple years, I'll be back into teaching agriculture. Um, and then I'm also hoping to possibly go into administration. So that's something I'm actually considered, because I'm at that 10-year point. I got about 20
Yeah.
more years in education. Um, so I'm at that point now where, like, if I want to make that transition, I need to make it. Um, so, and just like we were talking about earlier, seeing those leaders, seeing bad leaders, it can positively impact you on what you want to do to
Yeah.
get your mission accomplished in administration and things like that. So my ultimate end goal is to be a career and technical education director. That's my ultimate career goal. And I'm hoping that's going to be, what I kind of finish out my career in. And I got to take the steps to get there. And things are looking up for that. So
Good.
those are kind of my next steps for me.
I love it. I love it. Just continuous improvement, continuing to build on what you've already done, and continue to get better. And so, you published one book, and now you know the process, right? So the next
Yes,
one's
sir.
going to be even easier, right? And then
Oh,
the one after that, and the one after that,
yeah.
right? So that's fantastic. So, how can people find out more about you and your new book?
So I have a website, ericgodwin.com. That's the easiest way you can find out about me. It's got my book on there. Um, I've won some awards as a teacher. I was a Northeast Region Agriculture Teacher of the Year in 2018. I'm currently the Manassas City Public Schools. I'm their Secondary Mentor of the Year currently. So, and you can also I also offer a scholarship, the North Carolina Agriculture Teachers Association. So I promote an annual scholarship for them to pay the professional membership dues for a young teacher to be involved in a professional leadership organization for ag teachers in North Carolina. So all the things about me, you can find out from my website, ericgodwin.com. And you can follow me on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Parler, LinkedIn. And a lot of on the back of the book, it has my book accounts as well. If you're interested in following those accounts, and I want to see your impacts. So tag me, use the hashtag impact my life. So that's how you can get in touch with me.
Oh, that's great. And what we'll do is we'll put all those links in the show notes so people can find them easily. And those of you who are listening to this podcast in your car, you don't have to try to write all that down. We'll have it at the show notes, and you'll be able to find all that information. So
Yeah, don't do that.
yeah, no, don't write while you're driving. So thank you very much. This is exciting. So leaders, hopefully you took a lot away from this discussion. If you want to make an impact in the lives and of your community, the people that work for you, Eric has a lot of good information in this book to help you do that. So Eric, thank you for being on the show, and thank you for all of your wisdom, insight, and thank you for writing this book.
Thank you. And Wednesday was Veterans Day. I want to say thank you for your service, John, and I greatly appreciate everything you've done. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks for being on the show. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to Deep Leadership. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and share so we can continue to build a world with better bosses. Until next time, this is John Rennie saying take care and lead well.